Hello humanoids, Halfling Hannah here from Halfling Hobbies, and I am back with my tested, tried and true DM binder. Today we are going to look specifically at one of these pages, the forest event page, and give you DMs some ideas for some encounters in the forest that aren't combat but are super interesting. Here we go. So a game of Dungeons & Dragons isn't all about combat. There's a lot else going on in the world. There's your plot, there's hooks to side quests, and some of those don't include combat at all. However, they don't get nearly as much focus and attention as the combat side of things, so you don't see nearly as many resources to events as you do to combat encounters. So I created some really helpful pages to go in my DM binder that give me options in different environments for events that could happen. Few of these center around combat. Most of them could end up being combat if the players don't play their cards right or just happen to be in a rather feisty mood. So if your players are traveling through an environment and you want to throw something at them that isn't a lame combat encounter just to fill the time, an event is a great option. So let's look specifically at some of my forest events. So this is a page that I have in my DM binder. If you like this page, like the look of it, I have a whole bunch of them on Patreon. If you become a Patreon member, you can get these DM pages, simply print them off and put them in your own binder, and I'm constantly making more of these and releasing them every month. But if you want to just use these ideas, feel free to do so. That's why I'm making this video. So I like to start off each one of these with a hook. This is what I specifically say to my players when this event is happening. And I like to do these randomly. Because I have these sorted out into different environments, I know that the event is going to make sense for the environment that my players are in. So I roll a dice and take the random number for the event. Once I've used that event, I mark it off, and if I re-roll that number, I simply skip it and roll again. The first one, the hook, is as you are walking, you are shocked to see the lead member of your group transform into a chicken. This is a wisdom saving throw DC 14. The event that is happening around this is that there is an ancient fairy dragon in this forest who is looking to have some fun at the party's expense. He says he will only restore the member if they do him a favor. Fairy dragons are one of my favorite event encounters. While they can turn into combat, it is unlikely, as fairy dragons are very kind and good creatures that simply like to have a little bit of fun. Number 2, the hook. In a small clearing, you see a perfect circle of white mushrooms. On the breeze is the faint sound of music. This is a fairy circle. If a player steps into the circle, they will be able to see a fairy sitting on a mushroom who offers them a gift. If you know anything about Fae, you know that this is a contract. If the players accept this gift, then they are bound to help the fairy whenever they wish. This can lead to some very interesting encounters, not only now, but later on down the road. Just off this path, you see a burned down shack. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can go with this. My personal preference is that if the players choose to search the shack on a successful investigation, they find a secret research laboratory. Now, it is up to you what is in this laboratory, if anything at all. It could just be a fun little side thing that maybe you mention later on. But they could find some very interesting things in this laboratory. Pulled off to the side of the path, you see a colorful wagon with a broken wheel. A woman is standing beside it, waving to you as you approach. This woman is a fortune teller, and a real fortune teller at that. If your players get their fortunes read, then I actually have a separate fortune teller sheet that they can get a random fortune that will, at some point in the campaign, come true. Some are good, some are bad, and it all depends on the roll of the dice. That one's super fun. Number 5, a little ways off, you see a wooden fence, weathered and covered in moss so that it blends in with the forest around it. This, and I'm really proud of this one. This one is a pacifist goblin clan. A druid had gone through this area a long time ago and converted this clan to pacifist ways, and they now have taken his place protecting this enchanted forest. If your players treat them nicely, they're happy to provide lodging and food for the night. And then finally, number 6, you hear low, gravelly voices in deep conversation. As you get closer, you see tree ents who turn to look at you. These treants are good and will not attack unless provoked, and they are deeply concerned about a strange source of magic deep in the woods. If your players would investigate this source of magic for them, there would be a reward in store. So that is my forest events sheet. If you liked these ideas, please make sure to comment down below. If you have some forest encounters and events of your own that you would like to share, please also put those in the comments below so we can generate a whole bunch of ideas for the DMs that come to this video. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out, and I love building a community of DMs who want to help one another. And until next time, my friends, may your game have advantage. Halfling Hannah here, signing out.